And today I'm going to start off with a slideshow, but then I'm going to go into Google Classroom itself. I thought this was in the attachments, but for some reason it's not showing in there. And if you want this slideshow, I can definitely give this to you. So it's just everything I'm going to go over. It is 16th of September, so if you are celebrating the independence of Mexico, bienvenidos. And so Arriba, Arriba, Google Classroom. And that's kind of the little theme today. And so I'm just going to go over the agenda, which is setting up Google Classroom. If you do not have a Google Classroom set up, I suggest you head over to Google Classroom and go ahead and get that going. We are going to go into looking at what the different components are, like stream, classwork, people, grades. So all these different topics that are in there. We're going to look at the settings in Google Classroom and how to customize it so that it works for you. And we'll take a look at the 3 horizontal lines we call the hamburger. And that's as far as I'm going to go. The rest of the slideshow is just what I'm going to go over in the actual Google Classroom. I'm going to head over there now, but before I do, I need to send you a link.
Anita, are you presenting?
Yes, is it not showing?
I'm not seeing anything. So I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay.
You've got 2 pictures on, Morgan.
If you can, go ahead and fill out that this was here. This is so your principals know that you attended this meeting, and it's also for you to kind of keep track too, so that you can write this down as PD.
Anita, are you presenting? Because I don't even see nothing.
So the form is in the chat. There's a link in the chat. So if you click up where it looks like a little chat bubble where it says chat with everyone, there's a link there. And if you click on that, it'll take you to a Google form. And it shouldn't take you more than just a minute to fill out. Try to make it as simple as possible for you to just very quickly click the one that you need to. Again, if you're just joining, I put a form in the chat box. So click on that and go ahead and sign in so that you're counted as here.
Anita, do you know if this is going to suffice for our certificate for the teachers? Is this what do we need to send this, or are you going to send it for us?
So you won't get a certificate, but your principals will know that you attended. So we are giving this list of attendees to the principals.
Okay. Okay. So just signing in tells them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so one more time, I'm going to send it's the same link if you've already filled it out, but if you just joined and you didn't see the link because you just joined, there's the link to the forms. And all right, I'm going to stop sharing just for a minute, and then I'm going to share again. And some of you said it's not sharing, so hopefully it's not mine. Okay, so you should see my screen. Have Super Mario up here on my screen. I'm going to go to Google Classroom. I have my notes here, so just bear with me. So from this page, this is your dashboard, and it has all your classes listed. It has the classes that you teach in, and it has the classes that you may be a student in. So if your principal has created a class to where you maybe submit lesson plans, things like that, then this is where you'll also see your class. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my virtual classroom. And I'm going to start up here at the top. So we're going to look at this stream. The stream is this page right here. So I don't have to even click on it because I'm already here. Once I click in here, this is where it starts, and it shows my banner, shows my class code. Normally you can invite students and you won't have to give this code out, but for whatever reason, if a student's having trouble or needs to get into your class, you can give them this code and they would go into their Google Classroom and enter the code. And I can show you from the student's point of view what that looks like. So from a student, they would go join, put in the class code right here, and then click join. So I'm going to go back over here, and we have the Meet link. This is the Meet link that you can use for your everyday meets. You do not have to change this. You do not have to put out a new one every day. There are some settings that you can go to right in here. And somebody's knocking. Let's see if... Sorry, I'm going to let somebody in real quick. Okay. And this is where you can change this part. So your Meet right here, you can reset it, but also you can also make it not visible to students. So if you don't want it visible after school hours, if they shouldn't be able to get in because we've changed those settings on our end. But if you're afraid that they're still like sneaking in there, you can always turn this off and it will no longer be shown on that stream page. So I can still see it, but you can see this little eyeball changed. And so now it won't be visible to my student. So if I go back to my student here, and he clicks into the classroom, it's gone now. So that disappears. All right. This little Bitmoji thing, that's a whole nother session. If you want to join me in a private session, I can show you how to make those Bitmoji pictures that can go in your Google Classroom, or you can just select a theme that's available through Google. And if you want to do your own photo, you can upload a photo. There is no way to get the dark off of there. You can temporarily, but it'll just go right back on there. And that's done on purpose so that these white letters can always be seen to your students. So I had a teacher posting assignments in here, and that was because teacher wasn't sure how to use Google Classroom, and she was really confused and said, why are my assignments, they keep getting pushed down? And I mean, the assignment was way down here, and the kids were answering the questions in the chat right here. And of course it's like a Facebook feed, and it just gets bogged down. So everything you put in here, all the newer stuff stays at the top. So like this one I did this morning, it comes to the top. If I post any announcements, it's going to be here. But anything I do as far as putting assignments, it's going to push it down further and further. So if you need something to stay at the top, I suggest you go into the classwork page. So that brings us to this next one, and this one's where the bulk of all your activity is going to happen in Classroom. You're going to create assignments in here. This is where you can go to your Google Classroom from within here, which just takes you to your calendar. But if you've created any assignments, you'll be able to see when those assignments are due if you've been putting due dates and things on there. This takes you into your Google Drive, and you can see that it creates folders for you. So if you have assignments coming in from students, it's going to be placed into those folders for you. All right, so let's look at creating. So each of these in here are a little bit different. If you go to assignment, you can see you have to have a title on your assignments. If you go to this one, it's going to add something from your Google Drive or link or file or YouTube. If you go to create, it's going to bring up everything that you can create within Google, like from a blank docs, blank slides. So these are all start creating from new. So that's what this one is for here. If you already have something ready to go, you're going to click this button here. You can assign them to all of your classes, or you can assign it to just one class. You have the ability to assign it to just a few students or just 1 or 2 students. What's great about Google Classroom is you can differentiate and send out certain things to just a few students. The points, you can change this or not. That's up to you. And most teachers go by 100 points, but if you use a rubric or something else, that's also available down here. Due dates are not recommended, and neither is the topic, but I highly recommend you put a due date and categorize it into a topic. It makes your Google Classroom much more organized, and you can quickly find things that you need to when you have those due dates and those topics in there. So we'll take a look, and I can't unless I'll have to come out. So let's look at an assignment. Let me see, let me go back. Nope. I think I have to go here to edit it. Okay, now I can go to the rubric. So if you want to create one, this is the page that it looks like. You can use scoring. You can turn that off, cancel. You can have it descending or ascending. So it depends on how you like your rubric set up. You can put as many points as you want to. You can put the description. So let's say it's your first one is on grammar. So you can put that in the description here. And then you would simply put the title, no capital letters, and then go to the next one, some capital letters, things like that. So once your rubric is completely built, and you can keep adding different ones and different levels, you would go ahead and save it. And that rubric would be available for you to use when you grade this assignment and other assignments. So you can use the same rubric for multiple assignments once it's in Google Classroom. If you already have one built, as you can see, you can import one from Sheets, and you can see right here where it has the reuse rubric button. So once you have one in here, you can reuse the one that you've already created. Makes grading a breeze. The next one is Cami, and Cami looks a little bit different. So let's say we have a Cami assignment already attached to this. You can see that this one is going to bring up your computer files, whereas the other one, it brought up your drive, your other, like all files. And in Cami, it's either from your drive or from your computer. So that is a little bit different. I accidentally closed my button there, sorry. So you have those two options when you're creating an assignment with Cami. this little thing right here, a lot of teachers have been asking, or what are the feature restrictions? So if you've used Cami, if you're familiar with it at all, it has a toolbar on the side for you to use to build your assignments. And on the student side, it has those same tools. So you can give those tools to your students, or you can take them off, or you can give them a select few, and that's up to you. So if you have younger students and they're just barely starting to learn how to use it, you can give them just a limited number of tools, and maybe they don't need the equation tool, they don't need drawing on this assignment, things like that. You can limit it to text and the dictionary if it's depending on the assignment, and then go ahead and say okay, and then you can assign your assignment that way. Another thing that I don't think I mentioned in the other one, but is scheduling assignments, and that's another way to make sure that students don't get started on something before you want them to. So scheduling assignments is another option you have in Google Classroom. Just gonna go here. Okay, just checking the chat, making sure we're doing okay. All right, so that's the difference between assignment and Cami assignment. When you go into quiz assignment, it's going to bring up a blank quiz. You can go into the blank quiz and edit it from here. Of course, Google Forms is a whole nother session again, but if you click on that, it's going to bring up a quiz, and then you can edit it and finish it out before assigning it to your student, and then go ahead and do the same as you would on the other assignments. Give it a name. You can put instructions. You could add more materials to this if you want to. The one thing I do recommend is do not toggle this grade importing off. Unless you've built your quiz to be more like a poll or something you're not wanting grades on, then you can change that. But if you make life easier, you want those grades to be done for you, go ahead and import those grades, and that way it automatically puts those grades in there for you. So, but you do have to make sure when you're building your quiz that you collect your email addresses, and that does, I think it says it right down here. So make sure that that's on the settings before you build your quiz. So that's what assessment is for, or quiz assignment. And questions are just going to be right here on your page. So you can say, these are informal. I wouldn't go too far on it. You can put, how are you? And you can make it a multiple choice, and you can say sad, happy, awesome. And go ahead and ask the students. And then it shows up right up here on the page. And then for my student here, he can look at it and he can answer, I'm doing awesome, and he can turn it in. And he can see that he's the only one that turned it in so far, but he'll be able to see all the different little things right here. So those are kind of fun to post questions and just to maybe see how your students are doing, or are you here today, things like that. But they're very informal. I wouldn't put, a high-end quiz right here through questions on the main classwork page. Let's go down to material. Material gives you the options to add links, add material from your Google Drive, from something you have saved on your computer. Anything you want to create, you have those same options to bring any of these up. And again, you have the option to give it to all your classes, all your students, or even just a select few. If you want to send out some materials for enrichment for your higher students, you can do that. You want to send out materials, supplemental materials to just your students who need it, you can do that with this button as well. So know that this is just extra stuff. It's not work or assignments.
Anita?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to clarify. Assignments has grades attached to it, or you can attach a grade to it. Can
Yes.
you put something in materials that you just want them to work on, but you don't necessarily want to take a grade for it? You just want them, to kind of reinforce what they're learning?
Yeah, and you can, because when you bring this up, as you can see, you can add anything from your Google Drive, a link, a file. It doesn't have to just be view only, but yeah, there wouldn't be any way for them to turn in anything to you, or either for you to know that they've even done it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's pretty neat, and it's reusing posts. So if you've used Google Classroom in the past, and it's going to take a little while, I have a lot of archived classes, and any class that I've ever made in the past, and any class that I'm a part of or have been a part of in the previous years, I can take an assignment from there and reuse it. So if I click on, I don't even know, I'm just going to go to this one. I can see all the different assignments that I put in here, and I can get it and then reuse it. So I just find the one I want and click reuse. I can use this one. I can create new copies of all attachments. That's up to you if you want to do that. So kind of a neat little tool there. And of course, creating topics. And I'm just going to write, whoops, my caps is on, new topic. And this helps. A lot of teachers are asking, I've got so many assignments in here. How do I organize? Well, you can create a topic, and you can just say August, and you can just drag everything down. So if this was from before, you can just quickly drag these down and put them into that topic. I can even drag that whole topic down and put it where I want it. So there's another one called August. So all those are just pretty easy to customize and put where you want them. Like, okay, this is all the stuff we did at the beginning. They're done. But if I want students to be able to go back to it, and I don't want to actually delete all of those things because end of the 9 weeks isn't over yet, I'm going to go ahead and push this just kind of at the bottom. And that way my newer stuff is at the top and my students are not getting confused.
Anita, I'm asking again.
Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
So when you put these topics in and you put the assignments in there, and you have dates for when they do those assignments, the students are only going to see, will they see the topic and the assignments underneath the topic from their end?
Yes, so let me go back to my student here, and I'm going to just refresh his page. So this is what he sees. So this is my student, Cave Student 1. He sees new topic, and then you can see that I pushed August all the way down here.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't see everything because I haven't given him all the assignments. Sometimes I only show, like, assign it to certain students, so that's why he doesn't have as many assignments, but he does have the topics and everything that I've pushed out on here. All right, so speaking of students and people, so was there another question?
Yes, yes. So what you're saying is, like, we have August and we make an August topic, draw down all those information that we had for August, and then you created a new topic. Is that what we do? Like, say October, and then we put in all that information, and then we just keep creating new topics as we go throughout the year. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can do it that way. You could also do it by subject like I did here, And then once all those are done, if I'm done with my ELA for that particular month or whatever, I can just drag those assignments in here into August or October whenever I'm done with it. And then I can just get rid of this topic here and it's still saving and delete it. So even though that was under ELA, it's now part of August stuff. So I just want it all under there. Or I could just put my ELA back up here where I want my new ELA stuff. Does
Anita,
that make sense?
I have another question,
Yes.
and it's not related to this. I went into Envisions Math. I found a lesson that I wanted to use, and there was a little assign button, so I assigned it through Envisions Math, and the kids could not write on it. Do I need to download it into my drive and then put it in as an assignment? Is that with a text box or something?
Yeah, I have not used Envisions a whole lot, but I guess some grades are able to use the online platform and some of them are not.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it's because it's new or if they're still working on some things, but you can definitely take the work from Envisions and put it into a Google assignment and make it a Cami assignment so they can use the tools in Cami to write on that assignment.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So let's go. If there's not any more questions on the classwork page, we're going to go into people.
I have one more question.
Yes.
In the classwork, you're taking when they, say you've got them in that first week, and when those assignments get done, you drag them down to August. So all of a sudden, my August is becoming very full. Is there a way to archive the lessons that I'm done with, but I want to save them, or how do I move them someplace else for storing purposes?
There's no perfect way unless you just delete it. And I wouldn't recommend you deleting things until maybe like the end of the 9 weeks. And then you can maybe like start taking things out. But I don't think it would maybe bother the kids. I think they kind of come in here and they see this top part anyways, maybe knowing that that's down there. But it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to take up too much space. But yeah, there's no way to just hide it if that's what you're asking.
Well, not necessarily hide it, but it's completed work. It's work that they're done with over a period of time. We're going into the 5th week. So they've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 work there. I didn't know if there was a way where you could archive the older work. You just put it, like you put it in a file, and then if the child, or a folder, and then if the child asks for it, you pull it back out for them if they need it and assign it to that student. But there's no way to archive the material.
No, there's no like folder or anything within Google Classroom. Like you'll always have those items in your Google Drive, but in the classroom, no, they're just here.
Okay.
Anita, can't you schedule when the assignments can pop up on the, like, I know I've created assignments in my classroom and I've scheduled them when they appear into the classroom?
Yes, and that was one of the things that I think I showed it on one of these.
You hit it
Yeah,
on
schedule.
Cam, but it's up here in published. Go back into create an assignment.
Oh, okay, so right up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I have to get in further. So let me put in something.
When to actually publish it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I actually have something and let me put maybe tomorrow. Actually, let's put it further so that way I can schedule it. Let's put that next week. Yeah, so right here, my schedule now allows me to schedule it, and I can schedule it to come out tomorrow. So yes. So it's a little different how you schedule it from here than from in here, but it is there once you start assigning your assignment and start putting those necessary components in. I said some of those things have to be in place before you can actually start to assign it, but thank you.
Anita,
Yes,
it says assignment and Cami assignment.
yes.
What's the difference? Is assignment just like maybe regular slides, Google Slides? And then Cami assignment, is that like when you open it with Cami and you finished it, it's already finished? Is that what we have to use, Cami assignment?
So yes, kind of, yeah. If you have something in your Google Drive and it's just a regular assignment that you didn't build in Cami, you can go ahead and use assignment. Pull it from your Google Drive, or if it's a link or a file on your computer, that's where you would grab it from here. Or like I said, you can create it straight from one of these Google apps right here,
Okay.
and build it right from there. So if I click on slides, it's going to create a new Google Slides, go into a blank Google Slides, and then I can start building that assignment from there.
Okay.
If
Because
I go to Cami, it's gonna
I noticed
open
the
up.
two. I noticed the two, and I thought, well, is there a difference? Because this is what we've done in library. You do your lesson in slides, then you open it with Cami so that you could put in the voice and maybe a comment or two, and then you save it, right?
Yes.
And then you would save it to your Drive or to your Google Classroom.
To your drive.
To your Drive, okay. And then you can pull it, and if it was finished in Cami, it is a Cami assignment, is what I'm trying to ask, in other words.
Yes. So if I look at my Google Drive here, I can make any of these a Cami assignment, where they have to open it in Cami. That doesn't necessarily mean that I've added the components that go with Cami.
Okay.
You know? So like this slideshow, I built it just in slides, but it's not going to have any of the anything special other than.
Okay.
So I can select that one, and let's say that classroom, and I'm going to give it to my cave student, and I'm just going to call it slides. So this right here, I didn't really talk about it. It's in beta right now, and it worked. It worked earlier, and then I tried it again, and it wasn't working. But it allows the student to open up a Cami assignment without having to go through that middle page where it says "Open with Cami," and for some reason, it's not working again. Like it was working, and then I tried it, and then it wasn't working. So if I go to my students page here, and I just assign this one, he has that option. I don't know if it's going to work. It's working again. So nope, it's not. So never mind. We'll open it with this. And so it opens with Cami. So no matter what assignment, even though I didn't make this assignment in, I authorized with the wrong person. I forgot I was signed in with a student, a cave student. Here we go. All right, so here's the slides, and it's going to open in Cami, so he can use all these tools. He can write on it. He can do what he needs to. So you have those options even if you didn't build it in Cami. I hope that clarifies that.
Now, what if you didn't want him to mess with it? Like if you created a lesson and it has maybe links to a video and maybe you put in your voice, um, and you don't want anybody to be able to change that. For example, a student, because you want everybody to listen to it. Is there something in particular you have to do?
So yes, so over here, whenever you're on the Cami assignment, and you have this option when you send it out through Cami as well as you go to those feature restrictions and
Okay.
you turn off those markup tools so that he doesn't start changing things. And if it's just view only and you don't want him doing anything at all, you can take everything off. So he doesn't
Okay.
even have that select tool where he can go and X out the video. He just has to watch it, or she has to watch it.
Okay. And they'll still be able to listen to the videos you linked to the pictures and stuff. They'll still
Yes,
be able to view everything, just they can't change anything. Okay.
right. So that's what that is for. So yeah, if it's just a view everything only, yeah, go ahead and take off all those tools, but they'll just watch the videos that you put in Cami. All right.
Incidentally, Miss Anita, there was several people that went through the calendar like I did, and we were waiting for you on the Google Calendar link, and then we realized something was wrong. So just letting you know, there were several people like Ron Arrington and other people.
Uh-oh.
Okay, just letting you know that that link didn't work,
Uh-oh. Okay.
but he had to go because he had another meeting anyway. So
Okay. Hopefully I have the right link, or I don't know. All right. So we'll move on to
Anita, I have a quick question about Cami.
yes.
Because I mean, and Google Classroom combined. So sometimes I don't know if I created it with Cami or with, but when I'm looking at the assignments, like after the students have submitted them, and I'm grading, sorry about my daughter, and I'm grading them, sometimes like I can look at their assignment and I see all the student responses. And other times I have to click on the assignment to view it in Cami, and that's the only way I can see the student responses. So it looks like they haven't done it. But if I click on it, then I can see their responses. Am I doing something wrong?
Probably not. We'll head over to the grades and grading using Cami in just a second.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I'm just gonna go through people real quick because this one's just a quick one. This is where you add other teachers, principals, anyone of interest that you work with that work with your students, social workers, therapists, things like that. You can invite them all to your Google Classroom. And of course, this is where you add your students. So you click on here and you start typing in a name. So if I wanted to add my kiddo, I would just type in his name and click his name and invite him. This little button is to get rid of students. So if I have this student and I want to remove my test student, all I have to do is click that and click it and then actions. And that's it for people. So that one's a real quick one. If I go to grades, this just shows me none of my kids do their work. So all these assignments in here and nothing to grade. So, but this is where it would be at. And so let's go back and let's look at an assignment that maybe has been turned in. I think there might be none. Okay. I thought I turned one in just so that we can look at it, but I might. All right, Cave student, you're going to have to turn in your assignment here. All right, so he's turning that in and it's done. So I can go back over here. And I might have to refresh it. Another way to look at what is done and what is not done is my to review, not my to do. And I can see, this is not my class, but I can see, go to my class that I want to see, and I can see what has been turned in, what's been assigned, what's been graded. Let's see if it shows now since he just turned it in. Nope. Okay. And my to-do list is if I'm in a class, and then it shows me what I need to do. So if your principal sends you something, then you can go to that one. Let's go back. Let's see there. It does show turned in here. So if I want to grade this, I'm going to go ahead and click on his work. And I have my little button on already to grade with Cami. And so I only have this one student that did this work. So your question was sometimes the students don't appear, like up here. Can you clarify that for me now that I'm in the right area?
Yes. So my question is like, if I send them a worksheet, and if I look at it here, sometimes I can see their responses. And the thing is, my students don't always press turn in, so it'll say like missing, but some of them have already filled it out.
Okay.
And so even if it says missing, sometimes I still need to click on it to say where it says open in Cami, because if I open it in Cami, sometimes there's responses there, but when I look at it here, there's not responses. Does that make sense?
Oh, because they didn't officially turn it in, so it's still sitting in their queue pretty much, because the computer or the system doesn't know if it's ready to be turned in, even though all the work is done. I guess just what grade do you teach?
Oh, 7th grade. But sometimes when they do turn it in, it'll still look blank.
Oh.
So it's not just universally when they haven't turned it in yet. They just do both things. But sometimes when they have turned it in, I still have to look at it through Cami to even see their responses instead of looking at it here.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's something I haven't heard about, but
Okay.
I can talk to Cami directly and see if anyone else has had those problems with it not showing up.
The same problems that she's having exactly the same. Yeah.
So there are other.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not nothing new. All right, I
It's like you
will
have to open a
definitely
new
look into
window
it then.
to see the assignments.
So
What was
instead
that?
of having to or being able to just quickly look at it through here, you're having to actually go out of this program and then open it through Cami to see it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
And then
that's
go back integrated.
kind of, yeah, that's more of a hassle then, of course. All right, yeah, I'll see what I can do and see what is going on with those issues. Hopefully it's something on their end that they can remedy, maybe a glitch in the system or something. Okay, so this is the program with Cami. If you don't want to grade with Cami, you can also always take that off. And of course, since I made it a Cami assignment, it's asking me to open with Cami. So I can go and open it in the Cami program, like some of the teachers are having to do, unfortunately. But I can use the same markup tools and grade in here. It's just not as easy as being able to do it right here in the program. So I guess we'll really definitely have to see how to do that. Another kind of neat thing to do, I don't know if many of you have like home iPads, like personal iPads. If you open it up in iPad or a mobile device, you can use your stylus, you can use your voice to do these voice comments instead of typing them out, which might make grading a little bit quicker. And of course, if you have a stylus, you can just like mark it up using your stylus real quick. I know most of you have touch iPads or touch Chromebooks, but they're not super great. So that was just something I learned not too long ago with the mobile apps and how you can do that. When you're finished grading, return your kids' work. If not, it does get saved in your Google Drive. Like I said earlier, all the work and everything that your students turn in, it goes into a folder and it becomes yours temporarily. And so not only clogs up your Google Drive and it's there, but it's kind of like having a stack full of graded papers on your desk in the classroom. So go ahead and give those back to your students with the return button after you grade it. If you weren't sure, Cami has added some cute little stickers. So if you want to give your kids a sticker, you can say excellent work. You can do that and then return. Oops, I didn't grade my kids' work. Here, let's give them 100. And done.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I love that you can return the work with Cami. Where does it go on my end so that maybe one day I can print it out and file it in an IEP file?
So once you return it, you no longer, I guess, have that assignment. So I would go ahead and print it.
Like screenshot it?
Still yours. What's that?
So before I return it, I should screenshot the assignment or the grade.
Or if you do have access to a printer, print it, or you can go ahead and save it yourself. Like, oh, this one's really great. I'm going to go ahead and download it, or save it to my Google Drive, and that way you have that. Yeah. So that way you have the copy of that student's work, and then you can name it whatever you want.
Nita, how did you get that box?
Which box?
Box says we couldn't load this assignment. Please refresh. Where did you get that?
Oh, I went to the save.
Oh, to the save. Never mind. That was silly.
She was asking how they can keep that work before returning it. You can save it. You can download it. You can kind of the same options that you have in the big Cami you have here too.
Okay.
So even if you don't have a printer, you could just save it as a PDF, and you could do it that way too. So if I go to that, I'm not connected to a printer, so I don't know if it's going to print, but I can save it here as a PDF and then do it that way. All right. I think I'm pretty close to going over everything else. Can I get out of here? All right. Let's see. I said I was going to go over the settings button. So this is your class details. These are all optional. This is what would show up on your class banner if you decide to put the information in here. Your invite link, you can enable it or have it disabled. I think I showed you that part earlier. So right now it's not visible, but I can make it visible. Any changes I do, the little button comes up and I have to make sure to save them when I finish. This right here, the stream, students can post and comment. So if I go over here to my, okay, he's done. He's going to go to his stream. He's going to say, hi, Miss Chavez. And of course, he didn't capitalize his M. There we go. I'm going to be able to see it on Yes, discard on my stream once I refresh. So there's my student. He's saying hello to me. Now I have the option to disable that right here. If I don't want students posting, I can take that off. If I want it to where only I can post and comment, I can do that. And I can make it to where only my students can comment on something I post. So that's up to you as a teacher. I've had teachers in the past who left this on and their kids went to town on a whole, it was like a Snapchat stream just full of comments back and forth to each other, and they didn't realize that the teacher could see all of it. So just let them know that you do see everything. See, this one is for your stream, and you can hide those notifications. You can show them. So some more details on how you want it viewed on your stream. And another thing, you can toggle on and off. And I haven't really messed with a whole lot of these. I just kind of leave them. And of course, grading. We do not have it synced to Synergy yet, so that's not an option yet. Hopefully we'll get those worked out between Synergy and Google Classroom. This hamburger over here shows your classes and your calendar. And it takes you to the calendar. It takes you to everything that is assigned, everything that's due, things like that. I showed you the to review, and it just shows you what assignments you may need to look at, what assignments you need to go and grade, things like that. Just kind of a quick glance. Your archive classes are classes that you graded or that were in, and you either unenrolled or you've deleted, or not deleted, but archived, and you no longer have access to those. Settings just brings you back to, oh no, it brings you to this one where you can change your profile. And a more important one teachers always ask about is, I have way too many emails from my students and their work, and it's just piling up. And how do I get rid of this? Well, it's just this one little toggle right here. And you can take all of them off, or you can turn it on. You can turn off certain ones that do bother you. So it's up to you how you want to customize that. I personally like to turn them all off. All right. And that concludes my presentation on Google Classroom. And I have a few minutes left for questions. So I'm going to go back to the chat here. And I'm sorry I haven't been going back into the chat. So I'm going to catch up on some reading here. How do I get Cami linked to my Google Classroom? So Darlene, you have to go and make sure that you have the Google Chrome extension. So you'll go into Google Chrome Web Store and add the extension. And then you also have to make sure that you are signed in to Cami. So make sure you have those. And let's see.
Okay, so
Brandy, is there a better way we can see what the students see? You can do what I've done is I've just created this. You can have this student account. It's called Cave Student 1. And you can go in as this student after you make an assignment for this student and sign in and see what it looks like from their end. It looks very similar, but it does look a little different. Whoops, I'm still in Cave Student.
So Anita, am I creating a whole new one that, so when it pops up on my main screen where I see my classroom, I see Mr. Pena's classroom, I see other teachers' classrooms, and then I would see the students one also.
No, so you would just invite Cave student to your class, just like he's a regular student.
Yes.
But he's one that you would be able to go in and look at things
And
from
view.
his point of view. Yeah.
Okay.
So his is Cave Student 1 at carlsbadschools.net, and his password is capital C, capital M, capital S, 2020 exclamation point.
2020.
2020.
Let's see.
But Anita, if we use that one and everybody's assigning stuff to that one student, then that student's going to have everybody's work in him. So if I wanted to create my own student, say I wanted a minion one.
You can try Cave Student 5. I think we have up to Cave Student 10. I could be wrong. Stephen went and deleted a whole bunch of those extra Cave students, but you can try one of those, but all the passwords are the same.
Say the password again, please.
It's in the chat. CMS 2020 exclamation point.
I'm already in my classroom. Sorry. I'll go back to
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
let me look. Oh, thank you, Heather. So yes, assignments, I guess, do not delete them out of your Google Classroom because of so that they are available to the students because of in case they missed anything, things like that.
So I made the mistake, Anita, and that's why I was asking about the archiving. I made the mistake of doing the reuse
Mm-hmm.
and reassigning them to another classroom. And what that generated was a new assignment for my kids because I redid it. And I was trying to archive those classes. That's why I was asking about the archiving. I don't want, I don't want a first grader looking at 30 things, scrolling up and down looking. Even though the most recent's at the top, they still scroll all the way down.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find a way to move them out of the picture for them so that they see maybe 7 to 8, 10 things instead. But
yeah,
what I'm hearing is no.
Not, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the class, Anita. I am going. I have another place to be.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Put the link to the sign in. Let me do that real quick. Go. Thank you, Jana. You're super fast. So if we return papers, it won't save in our drive. It shouldn't. No. Once you return it to the students, it should be gone out of your drive again.
Anita, one problem I found when I did try to return work, the kids would just like turn it right back in.
Oh, they're like, no, I don't want it.
I know. So I just left them. I was like, they returned
okay.
too many things back to me. So I was like, it's okay.
And how do we remove the emails? Okay, I did go over that. All right, thank you all. It is 11:30, and that concludes the meeting. Unless you have any more questions, I'll stay on a few more minutes if you want to hang in there. In case I missed something, I didn't go far enough in the chat or something like that. So it's good to see you all. Have a great Wednesday.
Anita, I have a quick question before I go.
Okay, I'll hang in here.
The scheduling. So when I make my assignment, I assign it to my classes, and I do all the assignment, and then I go, and it only shows edit or save draft or assign. Schedule is not an option for me. Like, it doesn't give me the option to put it off for later. Am I doing something wrong? Like, do I need to try and schedule it before I finish assigning it? Because I'll assign it to multiple classes before I try scheduling it.
So I think you do have to have a due date put in,
Okay.
and then you should be able to schedule. And you can't schedule it, I think, the same day that it's due or something like that. Like there does have to be like some time between that. But
Okay.
other than that, it shouldn't be not allowing you.
Because I've tried it with different things, no due date, like just different times, and I don't know what I was doing wrong to.
Here, I'm gonna go back in to one of them.
Okay.
Did that help it?
No, I think what it is as soon as I try and assign it to multiple classes, that's my problem. I can only do it one at a time.
Okay.
Or to assign it ahead of time to schedule it?
Yeah, so like when
Huh.
I say 4 and then which classes, if I click on multiple classes, then I am not allowed to schedule it. But if it's just one class, then I can schedule it, I guess. I mean, that's the way it looks for me.
I wonder, are you the owner of all the classes that you're trying to schedule for?
Yep.
That is strange. I don't know, maybe we can meet sometime either tomorrow or later, and you can share your screen with me, and that way I can maybe see why it's doing that.
Okay.
Do you want to do that sometime?
Yeah, I'll email you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
Quickly, just tell me the email. I was writing stuff down and I missed that. How do you remove email? If you go to settings?
Oh, okay. Let me just share my screen again.
Okay, so classwork.
In here.
Okay.
Here. Down to the settings.
Okay.
And then
Gotcha.
notifications. Yep, and just toggle this little thing off.
All
Like I said,
right.
you can customize it, or you can just turn them all off.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, so settings.
All right, if that's everything, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And thank you all again.
Thank you, Anita.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Is this recorded where we can look it up again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.